The Local Government News Roundup is supported this month by LG Innovate 2026, the National AI Summit for Local Government, hosted by Davidson in partnership with Amazon Web Services. If artificial intelligence is on your council's agenda, this is the event to know about. LG Innovate returns to Melbourne Town Hall on the 2nd and 3rd of September, bringing together council CEOs, executive leaders and technology experts for 2 days dedicated entirely to AI in local government. The program includes the launch of the Australian Local Government CEO Index 2026, international perspectives from government leaders in the UK and the United States, and real-world case studies from councils already putting AI to work across Australia. Expect practical, hands-on workshops, as well as relevant theory, plus an exclusive networking evening included in your ticket. And Roundup listeners can purchase their tickets at davidsonwp.com with the promo code LGNews for 15% off before the 21st of August. Registration is required and subject to availability. Full details, including terms and conditions, at davidsonwp.com/LG Innovate 2026. Practical AI insights built for local government. Coming up, Kingston's by-election results sent to VCAT over alleged postal vote tampering. Latrobe welcomes a new councillor. North Sydney's new pool shut days after a long-awaited reopening. New powers for New South Wales councils as nation-first shared e-bike laws come into effect. Queensland's government may step in over Moreton Bay's homelessness camp trial. Barunga West Council CEO quits after 5 months, and South Perth Council votes to keep a government monitor around a bit longer. Hello, I'm Chris Eddy. Welcome to the Local Government News Roundup for Monday the 17th of August. Great to have you here for all the latest news from around the nation, brought to you by the Victorian Local Governance Association, the national broadcaster on all things local government, Symphony 3, simple, connected customer experiences, and Rath Engineering Development, smarter local government systems built from real on-the-ground experience. We start in Victoria, and coming up, news from Bayside, Hume, Yarra Ranges and Brimbank councils. But first, Councillor Nikki Cower has taken the oath of office as Kingston City Council's newest Melaleuca Ward councillor. This is despite the VEC referring the by-election result to VCAT over suspected postal voting irregularities. Councillor Cower will serve pending further advice from VCAT and the VEC. Mayor Councillor Georgina Oxley congratulated Councillor Cower and said the council would work closely with the VEC to ensure correct procedures are followed. According to the Herald Sun, runner-up Glenn Dumbrell has voiced fierce outrage over the outcome, demanding an immediate recount and insisting the vote should be voided. He claims he was ripped off and insists he should have won by a mile, arguing that suspected postal ballot tampering tainted the final tally, which saw Ms Cower win by a little over 200 votes. The VEC has also referred the matter to the Local Government Inspectorate. Smooth sailing in Latrobe City Council, though, which has officially welcomed Councillor Rob Moffat to its team following the Morwell River Ward by-election. Councillor Moffat took his oath of office on Friday after successfully seeing off 4 other candidates in the postal ballot. Mayor Sharon Gibson congratulated the new councillor, who joins the 9-member council for the remainder of the current term. Now to Melbourne's North, and Hume City Council says it had no advance warning about reported kangaroo culling at the future Haystone Business Park site in West Meadows. In a statement published to the council's website, Mayor Carly Moore says the council understands community concerns about animal welfare, safety and transparency, particularly given the activity was reported close to residential areas. The Mayor says the culling was carried out by the landowner and developer MAB under a kangaroo management plan approved and regulated by the Department of Energy, Environment and Climate Action. While the developer appears to have acted within the rules, the council says it's disappointed that neither council nor the community was notified beforehand, and it's calling for greater transparency. Out to Yarra Ranges Council, which is escalating a planning dispute to the Supreme Court after VCAT in June overturned its refusal of a retrospective permit for 400,000 cubic metres of fill, equivalent to 40,000 truckloads, dumped without approval on a Green Wedge property at Coldstream. Mayor Councillor Richard Higgins said council believes VCAT erred in its application of planning law, and it wants the matter remitted back to a different VCAT member if the appeal succeeds. He's warned the decision weakens Green Wedge protections statewide. Separately, Yarra Ranges councillors have pushed back against the state opposition's proposal to reinstate weekly rubbish collections, according to the Upper Yarra Star Mail. O'Shanassy Ward councillor Jim Child told the 11th of August meeting that fortnightly collections had cut landfill contribution by 60 to 70%, and he's warned that the Coalition's proposed rate cap on waste charges would force cuts elsewhere in the council's budget. To Bayside City Council, which is set to vote on offering a $40,000 reward to assist an investigation into how endangered growling grass frogs arrived at the Yalakut Willem Nature Reserve. According to a report from The Age, council officers proposed the incentive following allegations that the amphibians were illegally relocated from wetlands in Melbourne's west. However, Victoria's conservation regulator says it cannot accept external funding for investigation rewards, leaving the practical impact of the upcoming vote uncertain. In Brimbank, the City Council has welcomed new Victorian Government measures aimed at boosting public safety across Melbourne's west. In a statement, Brimbank Mayor, Councillor Virginia Takos, backed plans for more protective services officers on shopping strips and praised the expansion of the Community Connectors program into Sunshine and St Albans. The Mayor also welcomed grants for councils to improve safety in public spaces, while renewing calls for increased police numbers and an ongoing visible police presence, particularly in Sunshine. Still in the Western, Maribyrnong City Council will this week consider its submission on Development Victoria's draft master plan for the former Footscray Hospital site. The council is calling for a 3.5 hectare municipal park, 30% social and affordable housing and community use of the former psychiatric building. The draft plan offers around 2.7 hectares of open space. Officers recommend council reaffirm its advocacy and push for stronger outcomes on open space, housing and social infrastructure. And Cardinia Shire Council is managing ongoing disruptions to local sporting facilities after repeated copper theft and vandalism damaged lighting infrastructure across several municipal reserves. A man has been charged with 43 offences relating to more than $350,000 in critical infrastructure damage across the municipality. Council confirmed that full repair costs will be absorbed by the council rather than user groups, and temporary generators have been deployed to keep local facilities operational. This is the Roundup for Monday the 17th of August, episode number 629, as we continue our trip around the nation for some of the latest local government news, and we'll go to New South Wales now, where North Sydney's iconic Olympic swimming pool has been forced to close less than a week after its long-awaited reopening. And that followed a 5-year, $122 million redevelopment. The council says staff detected a power supply problem late on Thursday, prompting the complex to be shut and the main pool drained while contractors investigate and carry out urgent works. The Guardian reported that there's no timeline yet for when it will reopen. The Art Deco pool, first opened in 1936, had drawn big crowds during its free opening weekend, with more than 10,000 visitors and thousands more taking preview tours in the lead-up. North Sydney Council has apologised for the disruption and says affected bookings, including swimming lessons and fitness sessions, will be rescheduled. New shared e-bike laws have come into effect in New South Wales, requiring operators to secure Transport for New South Wales approval and local council authorisation before service deployment. Under the Australian First legislation, councils now possess expanded powers to enforce parking rules, set speed limits and levy fines of up to $55,000 against non-compliant operators. To assist with transition costs, local councils will also be eligible to receive grants of up to $200,000 funded by a new per-trip operator levy to construct dedicated parking infrastructure. Strathfield Council's push for shopfront signs to clearly and prominently display English is drawing strong backlash in Sydney's west, according to The Guardian. A Nepali grocer says the move is unfair and won't bring new customers, while Race Discrimination Commissioner Giridharan Sivaraman calls it systemic racism in operation. The council has said no changes will be enforced until a review is completed, with community consultation planned. Mid-Western Regional Council has rejected claims that proposed updates to its social media policy will be used to ban residents who post complaints. According to the Dubbo News, community concern was sparked by references to managing viral complaints within the draft framework currently on public exhibition. The council says the moderation rules target unlawful, misleading or offensive material rather than silencing legitimate local criticism. The New South Wales Government has released the Sydney Plan, a 20-year framework to coordinate housing, jobs, transport, infrastructure and open space as Sydney grows. It includes a new state land use plan that aims to simplify planning across state, regional and local levels. It forecasts a need for at least 800,000 new homes and 950,000 new jobs, with council-level job targets and updated 5-year housing targets, plus a requirement for councils to maintain 30 years of feasible housing capacity in their planning. Blacktown City Council has welcomed the plan for boosting jobs in Western Sydney, but it says growth must be matched with better infrastructure, especially stronger transport links such as extending Sydney Metro from Tallawong to St Mary's. And Maitland City Council's fast development application processing has earned it $2 million from the state government's Faster Assessments Incentive Program. Averaging 85 days in 2024-25, the council sits well under the 115-day state benchmark. The funding will deliver Stage 2 upgrades at Max McMahon Oval in Rutherford. Just ahead, news from Barunga West in South Australia and the city of Port Lincoln, plus the city of South Perth in WA. But first, let's go to Queensland, where the government says it may intervene to shut down a new trial camp for people experiencing homelessness established by the city of Moreton Bay in Willie Park. This, according to reporting from the Courier Mail. State Housing Minister Sam O'Connor voiced serious concerns regarding safety, citing a lack of prior consultation and the risks associated with clustering vulnerable populations in one location. Moreton Bay Mayor Peter Flannery defended the initiative as a necessary response to growing local housing pressures, while state officials evaluate whether the council can safely manage the precinct. Townsville is one step closer to becoming a hub for green tech manufacturing, with a major industrial project locking in its next phase of development. Townsville City Council and green energy investor Quinbrook have signed a memorandum of understanding to advance Australia's first integrated quartz-to-silicon manufacturing precinct. Set to be built at the Lansdowne Eco-Industrial Precinct, about 40 kilometres south of Townsville, the Northern Quartz campus will transform local raw quartz into high-value silicon for solar panels, semiconductors and advanced electronics. The project is expected to create up to 1,200 jobs across construction and operations, with commercial operations targeted to start by 2030. And now to South Australia, where Barunga West Council Chief Executive Officer Mark McDonald has resigned, effective last Wednesday, after just 5 months in the role. Mayor Councillor Leonie Curley thanked Mr McDonald for his contribution and service to the Barunga West community. Acting Manager of Corporate Services Stuart McLaren has been appointed Acting CEO from Thursday of last week until an interim CEO is secured. Mr McLaren joined the council in 2022 after 16 years with the City of Adelaide. Adelaide Hills Council has appointed Roberto Bria as its acting Chief Executive Officer, with a recruitment process now underway for a permanent CEO. Mr Bria is due to start on the 7th of September and stay in the role until a substantive appointment is made. His extensive local government experience includes previously serving as CEO of the City of Holdfast Bay. Outgoing acting CEO Jade Ballantyne will remain in the position until Mr Bria begins, before returning to her substantive role as Director of Environment and Infrastructure. The council says it aims to have a permanent CEO in place well before the caretaker period begins on the 9th of February next year. A potential boundary review is under consideration at the City of Port Lincoln due to escalating service delivery costs and socio-economic inequities compared to its neighbouring local government areas. This is according to a report from the Advertiser. Mayor Diana Mislov says that while the city serves as a key regional hub funding shared infrastructure, its population experiences higher levels of relative disadvantage. The council has tasked the CEO with preparing an advisory report detailing options for structural, governance or boundary changes across the Southern Eyre Peninsula. Thanks for joining us for the Local Government News Roundup, wherever you're listening across Australia or around the world. We'll get to some international news in just a few moments. But let's round out our national journey with some Western Australian news. There was a special meeting of the City of South Perth Council on Friday night, where it moved to keep the state's local government monitor in place for longer. The special meeting was called by Mayor Councillor Greg Milner to consider a request to the local government inspector to extend the monitor's term to the 19th of October. The stated reason: continued oversight during what officers called a sensitive period, covering the council's obligations to its chief executive officer, workplace safety practices and decision-making processes. After some brief debate, it was agreed to reduce the term of the extension to 1 month, with further review at that time. The meeting then moved into closed session to consider a separate confidential notice of motion on CEO arrangements, the outcome of which has not yet been made public. And the City of Stirling has voted to offer up to 800 free trees to residents in the Lawley Ward's heritage protected area to help offset expected canopy loss from the ECU Mount Lawley redevelopment. The council passed the motion moved by Councillor Suzanne Migdale, despite officers recommending it be rejected, arguing residents already had access to the city's existing free tree giveaway program. Officers costed the proposal at around $15,000 for standard tube stock, rising sharply if more advanced trees are chosen, according to Perth Now. I'll have some USA, Canada and New Zealand news for you shortly, but let's go to the UK first in our global roundup. At Kirklees Council, member Dave Rowan has been suspended from the Reform UK party, pending an internal investigation, according to BBC News. The action follows the emergence of historical social media posts from 2019, which appeared to show the elected member making offensive remarks and calling for violence against a former parliamentary speaker. While party officials assessed the matter, council administration confirmed that Rowan will continue to hold his seat as an independent councillor. Peter Geary, a senior Milton Keynes City Council Conservative councillor, has been fined £609 and ordered to pay £5,000 in costs after pleading guilty to offences relating to cattle registration and ear tagging records. This in a case brought by his own council. Labor councillors have called for him to resign, but Geary says he will not step down and argued the matter could have been handled with a cheaper fixed penalty notice. And in other UK news, former Melton Borough Council Labor leader Philip Allnat, 76, has been charged with 1 count of sexual assault and 1 count of harassment without violence and is due to appear at Leicester Magistrates Court on the 14th of September. BBC News has further details. Leicestershire County Council has extended the temporary closure of 4 recycling centres due to widespread capacity pressures across the waste sector. The facilities will remain shut while council officers work with contractors to create additional processing capacity. And a Green Party councillor in Worcestershire has quit the party and defected to the Liberal Democrats, saying they've lost faith in leader Zach Polansky. Councillor Martin Allen says Polansky showed poor judgment on a number of issues, including comments made after 4 Palestine Action activists were jailed for causing around £1.2 million worth of damage at a defence firm's site. The Greens say they're sorry to lose the councillor but insist the party is growing, claiming membership has quadrupled over the past year and that more councillors have joined in recent months. Councillor Allen will now sit as a Liberal Democrat on Worcestershire County Council and Malvern Hills District Council. From the US, the city of Dearborn in Michigan is moving its city council meeting this week after online posts announced a Christian Crusader march tied to anti-Islam messaging, reports CBS News Detroit. City officials and police say the venue change is to better manage safety and crowd size, urging residents to attend the meeting peacefully if they have business there and to avoid engaging with demonstrators. In Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh City Council has clarified the city's long-standing ban on parking on sidewalks and in bike lanes by narrowing an exception that drivers had used to challenge tickets. USA Today reported that under the updated language, a vehicle may only be on a sidewalk when necessary to avoid a traffic conflict or to protect a person or vehicle while complying with lawful directions or traffic controls. In Canada, Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew is urging Winnipeg City Councillor Russ Wyatt to step aside from City Hall duties after police laid multiple sexual assault and drug-related charges. CBC News reports that Wyatt has been charged with sexual assault and administering a noxious substance in 2 separate complaints, along with a charge of psilocybin possession tied to a 2025 allegation. Wyatt's lawyer says he's innocent and will contest the charges in court. The Premier says the case highlights a gap in municipal powers to temporarily remove councillors accused of serious offences, but any change would need to respect the presumption of innocence and is unlikely before Winnipeg's elections in October. CBC News also reports that the Mayor of The Paz, Manitoba, Andre Murphy, has resigned just weeks before the October 28 municipal election and says he won't seek re-election. He's cited a desire to be closer to family, and the Deputy Mayor, Carrie Atkinson, will take on most duties until election day. And the Niagara Falls Mayor, Robert Restaino, has declared a local state of emergency, blaming the City Council for failing to approve funding to address deteriorating roads and blighted properties. The Mayor says the conditions pose risks to residents as well as police and firefighters. The order lasts 30 days and can be extended, reports Buffalo Toronto Public Media. Does feel like elections are in the wind there in Canada. And in New Zealand, experienced local government leader Vaughan Payne has been appointed interim chief executive of Hawke's Bay Regional Council, taking up the position on the 31st of August. Mr Payne previously served as Chief Executive at Waikato Regional Council and Opotiki District Council. His contract runs through to the 2028 local government elections to bring stability to the organisation during upcoming sector reform. You've been listening to episode number 629 of the Local Government News Roundup for Monday the 17th of August 2026. If you have comments or feedback, you can send an email to lgweeklynews@gmail.com, and you can find out more about this episode, including story links, at lgnewsroundup.com. The podcast is brought to you with the support of the Victorian Local Governance Association, the national broadcaster on all things local government, Symphony 3 Simple, Connected Customer Experiences, and Rath Engineering Development, smarter local government systems built from real on-the-ground experience. And there's extra support this month from LG Innovate 2026 from Davidson and AWS Services. Your Roundup listener early bird discount runs out on the 21st of August, so get in quick to secure your tickets. More details in your podcast player or on the website. We record in the city of Greater Geelong, Victoria, on the land of the Wadawurrung people of the Kulin Nation. Until next time, thanks for listening and bye for now. Support for the local government news roundup comes from Rath Engineering Development, smarter systems for local government, like Red GMS, helping councils manage gravel pits and projects, track quality, test results, blending options and haulage, and know the true cost per tonne from day one. Rath Engineering Development can give you a one-off report that uses your existing pit data to pinpoint the best gravel sources for your next resheeting program or disaster restoration works, saving your council time and money. For local government systems built from real on-the-ground experience, talk to the team at Rath Engineering Development. Head to rathed.com.au to find out more.